Hello from very sunny Devon. My name's David Fawkes and you've been sent this video because I would like your help regarding unfair car parking charges. I don't want money, I don't want legal advice, I just want your comments and your votes to say whether you agree with me that the car parking charges were unfair, or you think the car parking company's just doing their job and it's fine. That requires me to tell you the story of this particular car parking charge. So apologies for the length of the video. Please watch and comment, and then if you feel strongly, pass this video on to others that might vote too. I'm an unpaid carer and I'm living off savings at the moment, so unforeseen costs are more of a problem than they might have been. I got myself some free time and headed up to the Lake District. Haven't been there for about 30 years, and I wanted to indulge my hobby passion for photography. 6-hour journey up. Got to the hotel. There was no parking in the hotel car park, but they directed me to a non-hotel car park next door. I've got various parking apps, but it didn't take those, didn't have enough cash, so it had a payment option of using a website called Tap to Park. So I went on the website, a little bit suspicious of a new way of paying for parking. Couldn't open the terms and conditions, possibly didn't get enough of a phone signal, so I went back into the hotel and went on the website, checked the website, seemed legitimate, read the terms and conditions and made a payment. All seemed fine. Also used the car park a couple of days later. In this particular instance, I paid for 12 hours. When I used it subsequently, I paid for 24 hours. When you make the payment, I think there was a 20p surcharge for using the website, and then an extra 10p for having a little text message sent to you to make sure you don't overstay. So used the car park, didn't think anything of it. Enjoyed myself in Keswick and took pictures. Weather wasn't great, but it doesn't matter. Enjoyed myself, had a nice break, and a couple of days later headed home. Then about a week later I got a letter saying that I was going to be fined £60 or £100 if I didn't pay it quickly for not paying for parking. My first thought was that the payment website was dodgy or hadn't passed on the payment, so I sent proof of payment, and they said no, you just didn't pay for the full time you're in the car park. So I wrote back and I said, well, I paid for a timer, and according to the timer I left pretty much dead on the 12 hours, can't see a problem. And they said no, you didn't pay for the time before you accessed the payment website. So they sent me the details. So I parked at 6:52, faffed about a bit working out whether it is a genuine car park and that the spaces were all the same for the members of the public. Tried to get onto the Tap to Park website, couldn't download terms and conditions, so photographed the car park sign for reference, 7 o'clock. That's already 8 minutes. Went into the hotel, got online, downloaded terms and conditions, decided it was genuine, made the payment. That took another 7 minutes. So according to the car park company, I didn't pay for that first 13 minutes, and I should have set the timer to take account to that 13 minutes. Now, I paid for 12 hours, but I stayed there 12 hours, 15 minutes. Pro rata, that's a couple of pence extra that I should have paid, but they sent me a fine for £100. I appealed to the Independent Appeal Service that they direct us to, and also to the British Parking Association, and it's really interesting to read their responses. Basically they said they're not going to comment on the fairness of the fee charged, but they do confirm that it was lawfully applied. In other words, the car park company exists and they have shown to satisfactory effect that I was in the car park at the time They're supposed to take into account extenuating circumstances, but mine didn't qualify for that. So effectively they treated me like somebody who hadn't paid for parking at all. As I said, I parked then 2 days later in the same car park, paid for 24 hours, probably stayed there for 14 hours. So they gained 10 hours worth of payment from me for that. Obviously that doesn't matter, I don't ask for it back. But that 13 minutes or 2% of the time that I went over, they consider is justifying their £100 fine, which is now gone up to 160 because they're adding costs each time they write to me. I don't want to pay it because I think if I pay it, it is going to embolden them to do it to other people. There's also been a couple of cases on the news over the last couple of months of people in this same position that have had their cases thrown out. So it makes me think, what do these companies think they're doing? I didn't turn up at the car park after a 6-hour drive thinking, oh, I'm going to show these bozos who's boss. I'm going to park for a couple of minutes extra. In fact, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to wait for 15 minutes, 13 minutes before paying, and I'll show them who's boss. I spent those 13 minutes trying to pay. I was trying to work out how to do it, checking that it was, I was following the terms and conditions. I wasn't going to be ripped off, checking there was no fraud involved when I had a new payment method. They know that. Okay, the initial charge was probably computer generated, automatic, but after the appeal, they know that I was just trying to pay. They didn't lose out. So I don't understand their motivation. I show my age a bit, but it reminds me of that quote in Jurassic Park. They spent so long working out whether they could charge me, they didn't think about whether they should. So as I say, what I'm hoping is that if I get enough people voicing their displeasure at the way this company has behaved, or other similar companies, then this could be used as some sort of reference point to point to the companies and say, look, no, this isn't what you are in charge of the car park for. We totally agree that you should charge people who don't pay for parking or who park illegally or damage your property. But somebody who genuinely tried to pay for the parking they wanted, followed the rules, just got caught out, that is not who you should be going after. I'm not an important person. I'm not a social media influencer. I'm not a VIP or a celebrity. I've got a really small social media footprint, so that's why I've asked other people to circulate this on my behalf, and hopefully there are people out there who have as strong a feeling about it as me and can spread this and get the message out there and get the responses we need. Please, if you agree with this, put a thumbs up. If you think car parking companies have a hard enough job and it's quite right that they penalise people who go over time, then thumbs down. And if you want to pass it on to someone else, that would be good, because the more this is circulated in terms of sending a message, then I think the better. And bear in mind those couple of court cases in the news where the courts have actually ordered the car companies to pay the costs of taking those people to court. Thank you for your time. Sorry I rambled on a bit, but I think it's really useful if you know the full picture and can make an informed decision. Hope you enjoyed the dogs in the background.